Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to R.I.F.T Nation Network. You are tuning in on a Wednesday evening live at 8 p.m. We are streaming live on, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I am your host, Joni Skinner. I hope everybody is doing great. Miss Michelle, please tune us in. She is down in the zone, down in the hurricane zone. How are you? Are you guys doing okay? How's the weather? I was worried about you. I was going to text you and I thought, I'm not going to text her and waste her phone batteries. I hope you're doing okay. Family is safe. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome in, everybody. How are you guys this Wednesday evening? Now, I messed with another little camera here for the cards for our little true crime oracle deck. So we're going to try that tonight. Oh, God. You know, I am so not techie or technical. So rigging up another camera, to say the least, is kind of it's a scary thought for a Libra. I don't really know what I'm doing. But we'll see. I might end up like filming my neighbors. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I hope everybody is doing well on this Wednesday night. Michelle, let us know that you're safe and sound down in the hurricane zone. And take pics if you can tomorrow. Hi, Kathy, Sarah, Lee, Michelle, everybody, Keithy. Welcome in, everybody. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for sharing. We'll go through the chat real quick before we get started. I got there is a lot going on this week. Hi, Michelle. Oh, switch devices. Hi, Miss Lois, Miss Monica, Miss Tammy. Hi, Ruru. How are you? Lee, and of course, Miss Linda. I hope everybody's doing super well tonight. Oh, I know, Sarah. I'm probably going to turn it the wrong way or something. Who knows? Who knows? It's like leave the Libra away from anything with buttons because we'll just push them. Oh, what's that? Oh, whoops. I didn't know that. We spill things too. We're good at spilling. We're very messy. Very, very messy. Yes, it's been a very busy week. And as you all know, and I'll tell you guys this, and Rue can confirm this, we are, let's see, about 6-7 days, about a week out of eclipse, lunar eclipse. And this particular lunar eclipse, for all you clairvoyants out there, this week, the dreams are going to be off the cuff for starters. Your dreams. Neptune is sitting on this particular moon, this full moon in Pisces. And that's why I said, watch that hurricane. It's gonna get very, very quickly. It's going to form. It's going to get big. And now it's a cat too. So just be careful. But around eclipse season in the forensic astrology field, people that have been missing for long extended periods of time, they're found. I don't know why. I'm going to have to mark down that this is a North Node lunar eclipse and kind of start to track, because it just seems like every time an eclipse happens, I'm looking at maps. It never fails. Absolutely, this particular eclipse is going to be a really, really psychic one, really clairvoyant, really a good one to work on those things. And, if you're going to give readings, if you do readings, it'll be easier to connect. It'll be easier to connect with the spirit world. Very easy. Almost to the point where if you see spirits, you're going to be like, get out of here. Go back. No, I don't want to chat with you. Go. Leave. Because it's going to be wild. It's a good full, well, it's an eventful full moon. Eclipse season brings out things that we didn't know. They bring things to light. Hence, all the missing persons. They show up. Baby Elijah was found. I've got that map. We covered little baby Elijah's missing case back in the winter up in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. His remains were found. It looks like little. When Rue did Asha go missing? Down in North Carolina. She's been missing for about 20 years, I think. 30 years, maybe. I think her remains have been found. Another case that I was working on last week, he was found. Just last week, there were 3. And they were back to back to back. 3. One I was working on, he was found in Florida. And then little Elijah, I know there's more, but that happens at eclipse season. Miss Michelle, we're good right now. The winds are picking up and the rest will start moving in soon throughout the night. Honey, stay safe. Get your phone charged. Do all those fun things, Stay very safe. I was watching it. That's why I'm sitting out here tonight, because I've been watching the Weather Channel. I thought, I'm going to keep track of Michelle, but I didn't want to bother you because I know you got to keep your phone charged. Okay. Asha went missing in 2000. That's another case that we covered. It was the little girl, if you guys remember, that she went missing in the middle of the night, and there was somebody saw her on the road. Her parents were, and everybody, I think, blamed the parents, which the parents had nothing to do with her disappearance. But I think she may have been found. We're waiting on that. Word is they have a confession and they are looking for remains. I agree with Rue on this one. I think remember it was storming that night and she was terrified of storms. And I believe it was a hit and run case. I believe it was a hit and run case and somebody freaked out. That's just what I believe. I think she's been missing since 2000. That would be phenomenal for her family. So everybody this week, kind of say a prayer for the families of the missing, because this is the week, this week and next week. They really turn up. So let's get started. This particular case, I'm going to show you some of baby Elijah information, so that'll kind of refresh your memory. And let's see what we got. I don't know if anybody else. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. Every week, I am going to start to highlight, because I get asked this a lot. There were 2 people just last week that got in touch with me that had a family member missing. And, I gave them the maps and stuff, but that's all I can really do. I don't really know a whole lot about organizations that are out there. So I thought, well, I'm going to find out. And I'm going to start up a list of the organizations that are either that don't charge or that have information for families of the missing. And I'm going to come up with a list so that I can just email it to them. You would not believe how many organizations are out there that are free of charge that assist families, whether it's for counseling, whether it's for a PI, whether it's for flyers. There are a lot of organizations. You just have to reach out, contact them, fill out the form, and they will do the rest. These are wonderful people, wonderful organizations that donate their time. For a private eye, for information, private investigations for the missing.com. So write that down. If private investigations for the missing.com, that's a private eye. I think they are no charge, but I'm not sure. I think they work off of donations, but you would have to contact them. I'm almost positive. Another one, operationfindsafe.com. That's another website to reach out to, operationfindsafe.com. Another group of angels that are out there helping people. And this is a wonderful organization, Light the Way, Missing Persons Advocacy Project. They assist in, just go to the list and look what they've got. They help with everything. They help even if you need just counseling, or if you need posters, or you need to, what do you do when someone goes missing? Light the Way will help you. If you've got, there's another wonderful group out there that has funding. It's called the Cold Case Foundation. The Cold Case Foundation, you may have seen some of their YouTube videos. They do get pretty much funding. And it is a group of retired forensic people, retired detectives. They do nothing but cold cases and work them. So Cold Case Foundation, and I'll get their information too. So I'm going to just start to post them every week up here, and then I'm going to start a list. And Howie says OFS works also in human trafficking. That's wonderful. I mean, there's a lot. The list is a mile long. It's pages and pages of organizations. Many of these organizations have Facebook pages. So that I'm going to just start that every week, and I'll start to do 3 or 4 and then compile my list. And then when people call me, I'll have it right there available. I know we've had a couple that, a a couple of the cases that I've showcased that they could really use this information. So there's a lot out there too. There's a lot of help out there. You know, just like everything else, you got to find it. There's tons of nonprofits out there that work on donations. I know Peace River with Michael, they get donations and work on donations as well down in Florida. So you can always get Mike down there too. Now, if you guys remember, we showcased little Elijah Vu, and Elijah went missing February of 2024. This is the case where his mother took him up to the boyfriend's house. I don't know if y'all remember this case or not. This was the case that we did the charting on it, and Carrie Lynn was watching that night. Now, if you guys know, Carrie Lynn is a friend of mine. She's a medium, and she texted me, I think that night after the show, and said, you know, there's a red and white cloth. You know, of course, it was Elijah's blanket, and she gave me directions on where she felt like a lot of Elijah was. So I need to check that too, because his remains, they found remains, but we're still waiting for confirmation, but they're almost positive it was him. Now, we did not have a good timestamp on this map. Again, timestamps are, when we do the forensic chart, this chart, we go by the timestamp when the person was last seen, when there was a last text message, a last phone call on camera. As accurate as the time is as accurate as the map. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. When that time is accurate, I'll lay money on the map. If it's not accurate, I'll say, well, I don't know, we'll try it. This one was not accurate, but look at how close we came on this particular mapping. Now, the mapping in the middle, the mother lived quite a distance away. The chart told us that. If you look at the chart up in the 9th house, where it's number 9, and you've got, I wrote it on there, highway distance. It's a longer distance because that the 9th house reflects a lot of things, but it also can reflect that it was a longer distance traveled. It was a longer distance traveled. So there we go, up at the highway. So we knew that it was longer, maybe 120 miles, 140 miles. We knew it was a little bit longer. So the map, there's the map that we drew from the boyfriend's apartment house. I think it was the boyfriend's. Now, the yellow lines are where, if you can see, the red lines were from the actual mapping from the astrology. The little pin on the bottom is where his blanket was found. That's what Carrie Lynn saw, was his little blanket. And that's a direct hit where the blanket was. Direct. And up at the top is where his remains were found. Now, the red line up at the top is a little bit away from where his remains were found, but I'm not quite sure exactly where his remains were found within this. It's like a place where not mining, but it's like a place where there's dust and mining, I guess. So I'm not quite sure. So we were off a tad. But again, that's what happens when the map is, we weren't sure of the map. But that scarf was dead smack on with and exactly around what Carrie Lynn said it was. Oh, that's right, Howie. And Howie's letting us know. Carrie Lynn's show is a part of the UPRN, and we're thankful to have a working relationship with them. Her show is Spirit Switchboards, Friday at 6 p.m. Yeah, tune in to Carrie Lynn all the time. We love Carrie Lynn. We just love her. She's a great medium too. She's a real deal. She is there's not a lot of real deals out there. I can count them on my one hand. She's one of them. Rhonda, too, from R.I.F.T, is one of them. Kim Sage is one of them. I mean, they're very great at what they do. And Carrie did. She said it's red and white. And sure enough, it was his little blanket. So, but he has been found. And of course, you guys, I don't know if y'all remember the boyfriend and the mother have been arrested. So I'm sure if this comes out, which positive remains, I'm sure we're going to see more charges, which will include, unaliving. So this is the case I wanted to get into this evening. So put your clairvoyant hats on because we're going to need them, you guys. So if anybody gets any clues or feels anything, let me know. She doesn't, Kathy, she doesn't do cases. She really does personal, she does readings and her shows. It just so happened she tuned into the show that night and it came to her. So, but she doesn't really do a lot of true crime. So it's not her forte, so to speak. It's just not her thing. So, and we've got everything for you. We just got you got the maps. We need search together and get down there and go with your map. But this is our case tonight is Brittany Horn Duff. It's pretty amazing that I've got two things from Kentucky to show you guys. One of them is if you guys had heard on Saturday evening, we had I don't know if I can say it, and Linda and I kind of chatted about it, a mass person that goes around and pops. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube in the area. From where that happened, I'm about an hour and 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. It's where when we go down to the cabins, that's where I go down to the cabins. The terrain where the pop occurred in Kentucky, I've got pictures of it. We were on a trail that was actually marked. It was a marked hiking trail, and we got lost. It's mountains. This isn't, well, I call them hills, but they're actually mountains. This terrain is so dense to get through. I don't know how they're going to find him. Like I said, we went on like a 1.5 mile hike, and we were there for like 4 hours because we got lost. And it was a marked trail. There were signs all over, but you can get lost that easily. And there are a lot of snakes down there too. It's oof. And there's bears too. So I got pictures of that too. But this particular gal is from around a lot of that area down in eastern Kentucky, western West Virginia. And Brittany Horn Duff, and you guys, if you get any clues or anything, please, I'll write them down and get them to me. If you get if you feel anything while you're watching her story. Brittany Horn Duff, on June 13th, 2022, she lived in a little town called Kermit, West Virginia. And she was close to the border of Kentucky, eastern Kentucky. Population of Kermit is 217 people. And these are mountain towns, mountain areas in West Virginia and eastern Kentucky. Now, just some backstory with Brittany. Brittany left a message on her friend's phone on June 13th, 2022, and said, "I'm in Louisa. I'm coming home." And it was a panicked message on her friend's phone. That was June 13th, 2022, on her friend's phone, Louisa, Kentucky. No one has ever heard from her again. They've not seen her. And there's just not a lot of facts or timeline to go on. So I think it's important to share her file, share her poster, share everything to get the word out for her. What had happened, just a backstory on Brittany, she was a mother of 4 children. She was a DV victim, which we have seen many, many times on the show. However, at the time of her disappearance, he was locked up. So what had happened is Brittany and her husband had 4 children, one set of twins, and they had opioid problems. This is very common in this area. Very, very common. And I know it is in Eastern Kentucky. Very common. And they tried. Their children were given to taken away and given to family members. But Brittany would go back and forth with her husband, but she changed her life around. She came to Ohio, spent 5 months with her aunt, and went to a detox program and was doing great. She had inherited a trailer from her father that she had fixed up for her home and with her children to get, visitation and things for her children. She came back from that trip to her aunt's and it had burnt down to the ground. So she moved in with her mother. Okay. Brittany was going to college. She was on the right path. Now, what's funny, in April of this year on her Facebook page, one of her relatives posted that she was an informant for the police. And you have to remember, in this area, and I'm going to speak for Kentucky. I don't know about West Virginia, but I'm sure it's very, very similar in these small areas. They're called hollow. They're spelled HOLLOW, but we call them hollers. And a holler is a valley in between mountains. That's all it is. And they're called hollers. We call them hollers. And a lot of pharmaceutical companies, because there are a lot of mining towns over there, dispensed in the opioid crisis opioids like nobody would believe. So it's very, very common in these, it is in Kentucky, in these areas of Kentucky. The high rate of addiction is very, very high. And so she struggled with that, but beat it. So on June the 12th, 2022, she told her mother she was going down the road to a friend's house. Now remember, this is a rural area, 217 people going to her friend's house. Brittany is 6'1". So if you see Brittany, you're going to remember her. You would look at her like, boy, is she a model? 6'1", a beautiful young woman. You would probably go, wow, she's a model. So you would remember her. So it's not clear where she ended up. Nobody really has the answers. Nancy Grace featured this case a couple weeks ago, and her brother has been out looking for her in wells, down everywhere he can find. They are getting zero cooperation from LE. You've got West Virginia police, and then you've got Kentucky police. So we've got mixed jurisdictions where we've all seen this so many times with, oh, they're working on it, or no, they're working on it. It's not happening. They're not getting any answers. The family had a private investigator that stated, and the sheriff from Louisa told him that if he ended up in Louisa, Kentucky, he was going to get arrested. A private investigator on this case. Now that's in Kentucky. Does that surprise me? Nope, not in the least. So the family has just hit wall after wall after wall on her case, looking for her. They really don't have a lot of information. The timestamp I used was afternoon. It's really not a good timestamp. Her brother is going to go through papers and his paperwork and get me a better timestamp. I did a map, but as soon as I get that timestamp, I'm on it. You guys know I am. You know, better timestamp from his mama when she left the house. I know it was afternoon, but let's just hope, you know, I get a good timestamp. Now, there's confusion on whether or not she made it down to or up to Louisa. Now, let me show you. I've got a map. Okay, here's the map. Okay. You see where Louisa is. That's Kentucky. And Kermit. Yeah, Kermit. I call it Kemet because people down there pronounce it Kemet, but it's Kermit. But is south in West Virginia. Now, there's a podcast. It's a really good podcast that stated she was in a place called Chapman's Holler, which is a hollow. But Chapman's Holler is actually south. It's not up toward Louisa. So there's some confusion, unless there's a couple hollers like that, which there could be. I'm not sure. Because when I did map it, it took us to Louisa. So I'm not quite sure. They're not sure if she made it to Louisa. They're not even sure if she really made it to her friend's house. They've not gotten any answers. The West Virginia state trooper that was the head investigator on her case was ambushed and unalived on the job. He was ambushed. It wasn't due to her case. However, he is no longer working the case. And so it's just been one ball dropped after the next. However, there is an investigator on the case. He just can't get answers. So if you can see on Google Maps, this is a holler. A holler. See, that's the mountains. Those are the mountains of Eastern Kentucky. And a holler is just a little valley where people live in between the mountains. And if you've ever driven down into a holler, you'll know exactly what they are. And that's all we have. So Chapman Holler is south of where she was in West Virginia. It's not north up toward Louisa. That's why I'm confused, and I'm going to keep my eyes open for it and there it is on Google Maps. As you can see, the terrain to the right, it's the bottom of the mountain, and then there's the road. She allegedly was with a man named Chicago. He's not, of course, he is not a suspect. He's never been a person of interest. Nobody really knows. The only clue that they have with her is that she contacted a friend on somebody else, on her friend's phone. She contacted her friend, not using her phone, and said, I'm in Louisa, which is the northwest where the blue pin is. I'm in Louisa, Kentucky. I'll be home tomorrow. And she never made it back. So, and a friend came out and said, I took her to Louisa. No, she did not have a car, Linda. So, as you can see, the map takes us right up to Louisa. It also is a lot of north patterns and a lot of northwest patterns. Unfortunately, that terrain is what they're dealing with this pow, pow, pow guy that is running around in Kentucky right now that nobody knows where he's at. So I'll show you pictures of that. So that's what I have on her case. I'll keep you guys posted as soon as I get a better timestamp. But keep the family in your prayers. It's just one of those cases that I think when this investigator was ambushed and passed away, that the ball was dropped on her case. That's what I think happened. And you guys know as well as I do, when Nancy Grace gets a case and social media gets a case and it starts to pick up steam, that's when the families start to get answers. And that's kind of a shame, but that's just kind of how it works. And it's not pressure, it's just that people are bringing awareness to these cases. There are thousands of cases like this. And I told a lady just last week, she said, well, no, but I think it's because of this, I think it's because of that, they're not paying attention to me. And I'm like, no, it you would be amazed. It happens to a lot of people. Probably 90% of the cases that I look at, the ball is dropped. A lot of these places are they don't have the funding, they don't have the manpower. They get put on a bottom pile. It is what it is. You just got to stay resilient, keep on it. Like, and that's what this young boy is doing, going on all these. He went on Nancy Grace's show. So that's her case. I'll put her missing poster up on Rift Nation. If you guys could just kind of share her missing poster case, and we'll just start sharing it and get the word out. Mother of four. Brittany Horn Duff, missing June 13th, 2022. West Virginia. We don't have a lot of cases in West Virginia. This is kind of Kentucky. I think it's Kentucky, though. Should I pull some of the, I'll show you guys this Kentucky. There's Brittany. Now, 6'1", beautiful girl. You would notice her if you saw her. I think because she's so tall and think, well, you notice people that are pretty and tall like that, and you would just notice her if you saw her. Oh, I don't know why it's doing. Okay. Oh, okay. This is the chart of the pow, pow, pow guy. I don't like this chart at all. I wasn't comfortable with it, so I didn't map it. It didn't give me any answers whatsoever. And I know it started at 5:30 p.m. And I don't know why this chart I wasn't feeling it. I don't know why. It was really weird. Rue, maybe you've got that answer. Did you ever do a chart and you're like, no? The intuition was like, nope, no. So I'm going to wait. I did find out before the show where they found his car and the pow pow. So I'm going to try to map it from that location where they found his car and see if I can get more of some answers on this particular case. Now, that's the mountains where if you see that overpass where the red dot is, okay, to the left is I-75 North. That's headed up to Lexington, Kentucky. That's pretty close to Lexington. It's London is south, and then you go up. It's about an hour, 45 minutes to Lexington. Actually, it's about 45 minutes. But if you're going about 80 or something, it's probably less time. And that's where he apparently had road rage, or I don't know what happened. I don't think anybody really has the answer for what he did, why he did what he did. This is the terrain. Look at that. And people are like, well, why hasn't he been found? That's the top of 75, where apparently I think he opened fire, but I'm not quite sure. That's what it looks like when you're driving through Kentucky. Oh, whoops. So that's that. And so if I'm gonna try to map that for next week and stay on it, but I wanted to show you guys what that terrain looks like. That's what the police are going through right now. Again, with bugs and ticks and mosquitoes and everything. That's why it's taken them so long. Oh, there's so many places to hide. There's abandoned there's caves. There's you name it. I have a feeling he had somebody picked him up. I don't know why I think that, but should we ask the cards? Should we ask the true crime oracle cards? Or do you guys want me to ask the cards about the Pow Pow guy? Should we pull 3 cards and see what it says about him? What do you guys, I'll have to figure out this little camera thing. Do you guys want to do that? You guys in the chat are being quiet tonight. You're not chattering. Are you guys all just thinking? Lots of places to hide. Sure, let's see. Thanks, Michelle. Okay. And Michelle, he was getting close to the answers. The detective. Yes, I believe so too. I believe so too. Do you guys want to do cards on where the POW guy is? Where the I don't think I can say the word gun. I don't know. Let's try. Let me put this on and we'll pull some cards. Okay, I'm gonna try this, you guys. Here we go. Okay. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, crap. Well, I'm trying. It was working earlier. Let me try this. Let me see if it'll work. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying. It should be up, the little camera. Let me get out of it. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? There we go. Okay. There. That's pretty good, isn't it? Can you guys see that? This is just, I'm just kind of rigging it until we can figure it out. Okay, here's our cards from the Reckoning Company. Everything's backwards though. I don't see how the R is backwards. I have to figure that out. So let's pull 3 of the cards from the Reckoning Company on. Give us 3 cards regarding the mass S shooter in Kentucky. Give us 3 cards regarding confirmation of the mass shooter. I didn't say that too loud, I don't think. In Kentucky. Okay, here we go, guys. I think they're going to be upside down. Okay, we've got strategy. Can you guys read that? There, strategy. I'll get it better. So far, so good. Another card, strategy. So the police apparently are working on strategy. Let's see. Upside down, love upside down, which is the opposite of love. When the card is upside down, it means the opposite. So I would say this guy is filled with rage and hate. Yeah, we know that. Male. Okay. Rival competition. I wonder what the rival competition is in between. Perhaps with all the different agencies that are working on it. Perhaps within the FBI, ATF. Could be. It says, but it's upside down, so there's no rival competition. So it seems like they're working together. All right. Oh, interesting. A grandparent involved. Now, I don't know if he has been talking to his mother, his grandparent. Wonder where the grandparent lives. Pattern, repletion. Repletion means running out of, correct? Replete. He's not in any type of a pattern. He's not in a pattern. And aren't these cards the best? They're the greatest. I'll get this better. I'll get this better. I'll do it. It's not his routine, typical, or habit. Timeline issues. Boy, I should have, that should be my tattoo. Not natural causes. That's very interesting that the cards said that, because rumor has it, and apparently he texted someone at 5:03, an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend at 5:03, that he was going to unalive people, and he was going to unalive them and do himself in, unalive himself. So that would be, if they do find him, it's not going to be because of natural causes, because see, it's upside down. So natural causes upside down does not mean he is gone naturally. Aren't those cool? Don't we love these cards? So next week, I'm going to have my whole little area a little bit better organized, and we'll get confirmation. And this is what Ashley does. She takes her tarot card. Now, these tarot cards, I got to say, it's a little embarrassing, but they've had a little wear and tear on them. They got a little bit of, it's kind of like me, it's got a lot of miles on them. So if you guys see these tarot cards, please don't make fun of them, because they're like an old blanket. And I have like 3 decks, and I always come back to this deck because I can't get rid of it. It's just like Old Faithful. We're going to do 3-card pull and confirm what the true crime oracles said. Is he unalived by not natural causes? Did he unalive himself? So we're going to find out. And I wonder if the grandmother is somehow involved. Oh, look at this. 9 of Swords in a tarot deck. For those of you that know tarot, it's one of the worst cards in a tarot deck. So it's sorrow, depression. Look at this. Justice card. That's the police. I'm going to try to get this. Police. So there we go. That's the Justice card, as you can see, with her head cut off because I'm not techie. And he's having a rough time. He's not doing well. So that pretty well confirms that the police, justice is coming. He's not holding up well with the 10 of Wands. That's a burden. And 9 of Swords could very well be an unalive card, but things aren't looking good for our guy down in Kentucky. So that's how I'm going to work these cards every week with our cases, because I think it'll be pretty cool to do it. To do the cases with this little, with her deck. So does anybody have any, that's true. I know they're pathetic. Tried and true. They still work. Yeah, they do. I'll tell you what, they've been through everything with me. I can't look at this Hermit card. Poor Hermit. Look at him on the bottom. He looks like somebody ate him. Ace of Pentacles. He needs an Ace of Pentacles. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing if I ever do a show. I've done shows with them, and people just are like, "Well, I think they're cool." Okay, it's the young people say that. They're very cool cards. Very cool cards. Thrown off about the grandmother. Could he have contacted grandma? Do we know if? I think he's contacted somebody. He could not be living up in those that area this long without food, water. Somebody has to be assisting him, or they can't find him. He's unalived, kind of like, remember, with Gabby Petito or Brian. What was his name? Brian and Gabby Petito. He was unalived as well. Does anybody else have any? We'll go through the chat, and anybody else have any comments or anything before we go? I love these cards. I think we'll use them too, for sure. I'll get a better little area next week and work on my other camera. I'll use this camera with my big computer, and I'll have a better spot. This was kind of last minute, so I thought it was really cool. Does anybody else have any comments or anything else you guys want to add into the chat? Oh, and I forgot on the I forgot. You know, they're up there too. Maybe a grandparent had a cabin or something up there that he tried to make his way to. That's a thought. That's a thought. I'm sure. Don't you think FBI, ATF, and everybody, they've contacted the fam? And, you know, I don't know, unless maybe it's an old abandoned cabin from when he was little. That could be. That could be, Linda. There's a lot of places to hide out in that area. It's just massive. It's massive. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the mountains down in Kentucky, but it's endless. It's endless. Just another reminder I got with Donna this week. She started her chemo treatment. She's doing well. She's got a month of chemo and radiation. So far, so good. Good reports and everything. So best wishes. We love you, Donna. Get well soon. October 13th will be the transit class. And I know, Michelle, your mama was sick. So I've got you down. If anybody else wants to take the transit class, let me know and I'll put you on the list. And we'll get all the registration stuff done with Donna when she's a little closer to the date. But as long as I got you on the list, that I can start working on your chart. What is a transit chart for those of you that might not know? You have a natal chart, okay, what you were born with, like a picture of the heavens when you were born. That doesn't move. It's you. It stays the same. Well, it doesn't move. It does move with progressions, but we don't use the progressions with the natal chart, okay? So what happens is your natal chart doesn't move. The planets are now moving completely around your natal chart right now. As we speak, they are interacting with your natal chart. So we call those transits. So let's say, for example, my Venus in Libra in the 7th house. The 7th house means partnerships, relationships. My natal Venus is in the 7th house. When Venus gets into a great position with that Venus, or the sun gets in great position for Venus, that could be a chance that I might meet somebody or date somebody or get married. If you have a job interview coming up, or if all hell is breaking loose in your life, it's something to look at. It's an interesting part of astrology. It's more of the predictive end of astrology. We look at patterns. We don't predict. We look at old patterns. You know, I posted that book that I'm reading right now, and it's dated back, studies back to 1646. Nothing's really changed from that time. We've added a couple of planets, but other than that, it hasn't changed. It still means the same. So, I'm thrown off about the grandma too. With that, Miss Michelle, please stay safe tonight. Everybody say a little prayer for Michelle tonight. She's down in Hurricane Central right now. I know you guys will be fine. And hope you keep your power on. Keep my fingers crossed that apparently it's moving very quickly. And with Neptune, we have an eclipse, like I said, in 7 days, and Neptune is going to be right next to that moon. What does that mean? Neptune is storms, it's water, it's rain. So we knew that this had a chance of blowing up fast, just like Uranus, earthquakes. Neptune is hurricanes. So be safe. Hopefully everything will work out great. And thank you guys. And we'll have another case next week. And I'll have my little area a little better. I'm kind of proud of myself that it worked pretty good. At least it worked, right? I don't know. Does anybody know how I can? Is there something I can, maybe a setting or something I can get it from going backwards? So like that the cards and everything doesn't have backward. I know it's called mirrored. I don't know. I'll Google it. Well, listen, you guys have a great positive week. Stay positive. We got next week. We will be right in the middle of. Next Tuesday is the eclipse. It is the eclipse next Tuesday. So we'll look at the eclipse chart next week and see about some different things. I got a really good case I want to show you guys. The case that we worked on last week, I'll find out if I can show too, if it's made public, and I'll show you guys that one too. So just to learn and keep up the learning, we need forensic astrologers. So, you're more than welcome, everybody. This is what I love to do. And thank you guys for tuning in. I couldn't do it without you. Have a great week. We're almost over this election, so we don't have to be drugged through these. I couldn't watch the debate thing last night. I've had enough. I'm ready. I'm ready for Thanksgiving. I'm ready for everything to be over with. I'm ready. Get it all over with. But everybody have a great week and have a good eclipse. Have a great eclipse too. It's a good one. Like I said, get out your clairvoyant stuff and start your dream journal, because it's going to be wild. So have a great week. Thanks you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys next Wednesday at 8. Be safe. Thank you.